Okay, so, sorry, it didn't show up on my screen how close we were yet. Oh man, now you fell in butter. Okay, so today we are going to learn about a chemical reaction that is when you dye your hair. And I am taking this video after I already did it, but I took videos along the way to show you that process of what goes on when you are dyeing your hair in the chemical reaction. And first, I want to say that this is a watch video, not a do at home video. Okay. It is your parents' choice until you are 18 whether or not you can dye your hair. And that is up to them. So if their choice is that you are allowed to make that choice, then that's completely up to you. But otherwise, you need to listen to your parents. This is just a watch and see video. And I really wanted to share with you the chemical reaction process through dyeing your hair, since it is a chemical reaction and we're doing chemistry and it's not something that I could do in class, but I could totally do it on our remote learning. So I thought that was really fascinating and to share with you. So again, not a do it at home thing. It's just a watch and see video. So that way you are seeing the process of the chemical reaction, and I go through the breakdowns of it. I also want you to complete the physical and chemical changes intro to chemistry handout for this video. Okay, and then submit that to me. All right, so now I'm going to add in all of the videos that I've done throughout the way, and that will. All right, so I am going to show you the chemical reaction of hair dye. So you can see here that this is clear. This is the radiant cream color. How is it color if it's clear? Okay. And then we look in the conditioning color activator. So that tells us that the color is not going to come out until it's activated by the chemicals in here. Chemicals in here are also pretty clear. It's kind of like a translucent white. Here's our ingredients to show what is going to be reacting. Then on here, it shows us the other ingredients, and it gives us a warning to let us know that when you do hair dye, it's a possibility that because it's an exothermic reaction that you can have a little bit of a heat sensation, or you could have an allergic reaction, those kinds of things. All right, it says that this is Volterra amethyst. So this should turn purple. So we're gonna add it together. Okay, so we gotta squeeze the whole tube in. Best way to do that is to roll it, because then it's an aluminum tube. Okay. Almost got it. And the end. Then we close the lid, put on our gloves, okay, and now we shake it up. You can start to see it changing color. Now, chemical reactions aren't always the instant chemical reactions like baking soda and vinegar. This chemical reaction takes longer. So the longer it sits, the darker it's going to get, and then eventually it will be complete. So see how it's getting darker? Okay, this is the point of color at which we start applying it to hair. And then that chemical reaction is going to continue while it's on the hair. So that changes the color of the hair. So it is now time for us to apply it to our client here. So that's the background. I'm just getting your hair. Oh, okay. The client's my mom. Okay, so we have some wonderful gray hairs, which if you didn't know, gray hair is very hard to dye. So you have to leave it on longer. And those hairs will also turn out really cool, pretty purple highlights. So that's going to be fun. All right, so here's our before. This is no fair. Like, you guys know I can't grow my hair this long, but yet my sister and my mom can both grow their hair that long. That's not fair. Okay, so I'm gonna apply it now, and we will come back. I just want to show it's already changed color some more. Okay, so I'm obviously not a hairstylist, but I have applied it to the roots first because that is where the most gray is, and you want to have it sitting there the longest. So we apply it to the roots. And then all of this cream, we have to actually saturate through the hair in order for each piece of hair to get that chemical reaction on it. All right. Okay, so just to update you, we've got the roots. Now we just have to brush it through. And our bottle color is now almost to the color it's supposed to be. And we made sure to protect the areas in which we're working. All right, another update. We have combed through. You can't see any of the gray hairs now. And we are moving on to this piece. So we combed it. Since it's curly, we made sure the knots are out so we can prevent as much knotting as possible. And then I also wanted to show you that I try to use the most natural products that I can. So like my mom is a celiac, and that means she's allergic to gluten. So you can see here that it doesn't have any gluten in the ingredients, which is actually very common in hair products if you didn't know that. And I am allergic to sulfate, and sulfate is in a lot of products. And you can see here that it does not have sulfate, which is typically sodium lauryl sulfonate and sulfate. There's two different ones, and that's the one that gives me hives, and it's not in the shampoo like it typically is in shampoos. And then they also add some additional things for hair care, like oils, because oils are actually very good for your hair. It makes it where your hair is not falling to pieces. If you don't have enough oil, that's when you start getting things like split ends or it breaking very easily. And keratin is what hair is made out of. So if we add what we are making it out of, then we are adding strength to it. So, and an update on our color. All right, let's apply the rest. Stop. Let's add it together. Okay, so now we are at the long hair portion, and this is how I like to do it, and then I just scrunch it together and then I brush it through. And you can see how the color has changed as we're applying it and time is going on. All right, so we've made it through the entire bottle. This is the color we are at. We also went through the entire hair, combed it through, made sure we got all of those roots. And this is our bottle color so far. All right, now it is time for the hair and the dye to have a secondary chemical reaction. So the hair and the hair dye that has already had a chemical reaction is now going to chemically react with the hair, and that takes some more time. So we're going to wait for that to happen, and then the process to stop the reaction is to wash it off with shampoo, and shampoo will stop the reaction from continuing any farther, and that way it doesn't get too dark. All right, I have finished squishing it all through. I rolled all of the long hair into a bun. Now, gray hair is compositionally different than brunette hair. And because of that, it makes it where hair dye has to sit on it longer. So that is why we did my mom's hair first, is so that way her gray hair can sit the amount of time that it needs to chemically react to that gray hair and change it into this amethyst color. Now, as you'll notice, we are still seeing some red. We're not yet seeing purple. And that is because the reaction of the chemical reaction in the bottle has not finished yet. And that will still complete. It still takes about 20 minutes until that's going to be more of a purpley color. And other than that, here's what it looks like in the hairbrush. And oh, here's what it looks like on paper. It's kind of a red color. And that was the other thing that I was going to show you is right here it says 4VR. So what that means is there is violet in this and red. So violet and red make amethyst, purple. And that is what we are looking for in our final solution. Okay, then for the final part of waiting, to control the moisture and make sure it doesn't dry out, we apply a cap. And so that is what the cap is for, to keep that moisture in, make sure we are getting the full product out of it, and make sure that the chemical reaction doesn't stop early because it got dried out. Okay, now it is time for us to let it sit, and it's also my turn. Okay, so my mom's gonna show you my hair in its grayness before we start my chemical reaction, while we start with another chemical reaction bottle again. Okay, that's well shaken. Did you see the gray hairs in there? I have some. Okay, and because we have curly hair, brushed it first, then comb it. So brush, 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 then comb through. All right, she is going to get started with mine now. So my mom's bottle looks like it's almost pretty much completely done. You can see how purple it is compared to my bottle, which is still in the red zone. Go. You talk.
Oh.
I don't know what you're looking at.
How caked on the color is all the way through. Just making sure that it's nice and moist everywhere and rubbed in. So then now we're going to put a cap on it to keep it moist. That's it.
Okay, so just an update on where we're at with my mom's color. You can see kind of now purple. And it's dark, you can't really tell red anymore. And that means that she is almost at time to go rinse off with shampoo so that way the reaction stops and we get our final results. Cleaning up, and you could really tell the difference when I put them right next to each other about where they are in the chemical reaction. This was my mom's one, which is the one we started with, and this one's the one that's on my hair. And they're both the exact same color. When we are washing it, we want to wash it in more lukewarm to cold, so that way as much as the color stays in it as possible. And we want to run the water through our hair until we get a light pink color. You see how it's really dark right now? You have to make sure you get everywhere, because if you don't get everywhere, then that color is going to keep going. This is what makes the reaction stop. I had heard horror stories of people leaving hair color in their hair too long and it burns it off. Or if it's like bleach, it will bleach it until it's fried. Typically when you're adding color and you don't have a bleaching agent, then you don't have to worry as much because you'll still have hair. You just don't want to over fry it. And what that means is that you are damaging the hair itself and it's no longer in a healthy state because it got chemical burn basically.
Here, let me do the back against the neck. Now you're getting right there. So where it's on your skin right there, it'll eventually wash off though.
Right.
Because I got it against your skin in order to get the little fine hairs along there.
And that's actually because we shed skin cells daily. So the stain will come off. It's just like if we were to accidentally get Sharpie on ourselves. Alright, look at the color below. See how it's pink in color? We're just barely getting color still out of it. That means it's time for me to shampoo so that way I can triple make sure I have stopped that reaction. Typically you use the shampoo and conditioner that it comes with because they have a special pH that protects the color in your hair. And that's why you'll see on shampoo bottles and conditioner bottles, safe for colored hair and for colored hair. The two are different. Safe for colored hair means that if you have colored hair, it's not going to change the color, but it could make the color come out quicker. And then there's for colored hair, which protects colored hair. And that is the most likely to get the longest lasting of the color and leave it in your hair longer. Okay, so I'm really getting in at my scalp because I want to make sure there's none on my scalp still going and behind my ears. Okay, now we wash the shampoo out. You see it, these are so pink again. That's because it's getting the rest of the application out of it. The parts that are stuck on the strand, that the strands then stick to each other, making it where water just bounces off of them. And shampoo makes it where hair is no longer hydrophobic, which means it repels the hair. Which is why we use them for soap. Okay, it's hard to tell because the bathtub's not draining well, but when I look at the drips coming down off of my hair, it is definitely more to the clearer pink. So now it is time to seal it. And sealing it is an extra option that I pay for, and that just means that it is going to provide my hair with the nutrients that it needs to keep the hair color in, but also make it where my hair is back to being nourished. So we want to put this in, and then we let it sit there for 5 minutes. And again, that's based on the pH of the boost and the properties within the boost. So we got some omegas in there, which are good for the hair and make it healthy and shiny. Because again, in this chemical reaction that we're having, we don't want our hair to have over chemical reaction or a chemical reaction that we weren't looking for. So, and I would say a chemical reaction I'm not looking for is frying my hair, because I do want my hair to stay healthy. Make sure to get it all in there. Alright, now we wait 5 minutes. Okay, we are now ready to rinse out the seal. Something you can relate the seal to would be like a deep conditioning treatment. Okay. Now last we add conditioner, and that just helps our hair feel softer, and it tries to replenish the natural oils in our hair. So that way, when we're all done, our hair is as close to normal as it can be.
So hold it up, it says conditioner on it, right?
This is conditioner.
Okay.
Okay. Now conditioner, if you don't know this, typically you're supposed to start at the ends, then you go to your roots. The reason why is because you want to not take all of the conditioner at your scalp, and that makes your hair oilier or more oily. And so you start with the ends, then you go through the scalp. Unlike shampoo, where you start at the scalp and go through with the ends. Conditioner is start at the roots, start at the ends, go through the roots. So it's the opposite. Now, conditioner is not having any sort of chemical reaction with my hair right now. It's just protecting my hair. It's like adding lotion to your skin. However, to make the conditioner, there could have been chemical reactions. And to make soap, there definitely is chemical reactions. Okay, this one says that I don't have to wait at all. So once it's all coated, I just wash it out. By this point, we should only be seeing like pink lemonade pink, if any. Okay, and because of the ingredients that were in this product of the hair dye and all of the ingredients from the Boost, the shampoo, and the conditioner, my hair is very soft right now. You can't feel it, but it's very soft, and I can actually just get my hands through it instead of having to use a detangler in order to get through my hair, because remember, I have very curly hair. Okay, so now we're going to brush it, and then we're going to let it air dry, because if we were to use a hair dryer on our hair, it would frizz, and we don't want that. However, it would let us see the color the exact way as fast as possible. Not what we're looking for, so we're going to let it air dry, and once it air dries, then we will take another video and show you what it turned out to be. Okay, so it's time to show you the finished results. See that it is actually purple. See? Nice and shiny. And it has changed the chemical components of my hair strands. So that was a chemical reaction. And no more gray. Curls are still intact. That's always a good thing. That means I used a good product. All right, and that's all.